So for a long time, I've called these videos trailer breakdowns, but I've realized recently I'm not really breaking them down or finding 10 things missed or whatever. I'm more just talking about what I think of the trailer in general. So hey, these videos will be called trailer thoughts from now on. Just FYI. Anyway, we haven't really had any new MCU movie content for a relatively long time when you consider the pace at which they usually pump this stuff out. But now, at long last, we have a trailer for the next MCU film, Captain Marvel. A movie I was initially a little on, but the more I've heard about it, the more excited I've become. And now, we're here. So, let's talk about it. So overall, this trailer looks really cool. I will say, there are a few minor concerns I have, but overall, definitely still really excited. For one, Brie Larson looks pretty awesome as Captain Marvel so far. She's been great in everything I've seen her in, and she's apparently great in everything I haven't seen her in. So yeah, I'm excited to see her join the MCU. Her suit also looks awesome. I don't even dislike that old Kree suit, but her final suit from both this trailer and those pictures that were released looks so cool. And yeah, she looks powerful. I can see why they're saying she's going to be the most powerful Avenger. Seeing her and Thor teaming up to fight Thanos, that's going to be exciting. I can also see this being really good character-wise. Like at the end, seeing her as a kid, and then in training, and then as Captain Marvel, it actually kind of made me feel something, and that's just the trailer. I know that's exactly the trailer's job, but I'm hoping the film can make her a really likable and or relatable and or interesting character, because that'll really contribute to how cool a lot of the big moments she'll have in Avengers 4 will be. And I know Marvel can do it. They made Spider-Man one of my absolute favorite characters in this universe with just one film. I also love the MCU tie-ins here. We got young, de-aged Nick Fury, and I'm at a point now where I don't know if I'm impressed or scared by how good Marvel is at this whole de-aging thing. But hey, it looks flawless. His voice also sounds younger somehow, if that makes sense. I'm looking forward to seeing his early days and how he's maybe more of a rebellious, do-what-I-want kind of S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. I think that could be fun. Also, we get that little pager thing from the end of Infinity War, which made me smile. We also see young Coulson here, which I got more excited about than I probably should have. But I love Coulson, especially in the films. Now, he's more kind of serious and stoic, which can be interesting sometimes, but going back to movie Coulson is fun. Also, I haven't finished Season 5 yet, just putting that out there. Ronan's back from Guardians, he's always looking at a big space window or something. As far as I can tell, we didn't get Korath anywhere here, aka the Who guy.
Who?
But hey, I think it'll be fun to see him again too. If he says Who at any point in this film, I will stand up and cheer. They also make the time period very apparent at the very start, with a good old Blockbuster video, which made me smile since I used to love those as a kid. And yes, Blockbuster was still around after I was born. I hope they don't lay on the 90s nostalgia too thick, like I feel they sometimes do with other time periods and other shows or movies, where it's like, okay, we get it, it's this time period. No one actually talked like this in everyday conversation. I think The Nice Guys is an example where it's done perfectly with the 70s. But I'm also curious to see this time period of the MCU, since we've only gotten little bits and pieces of it here and there. I'm fairly certain we're going to get some MCU character cameo in here. Not sure who, but maybe young Tony Stark will be on a TV working his way up the company or something, or a de-aged Alexander Pierce, or something. Now as far as a few of the things that I'm a little bit concerned about, the plot or the character is just a little confusing from this trailer. And I get it's just a trailer, and the movie will obviously explain it, but some of the Carol wondering, am I from Earth, or am I Kree, or are these dreams, or have I had my mind messed with? I don't know, it just seemed like a bit much to cram into this teaser, where it ends up being a little bit confusing, rather than leaving it for a longer trailer, or the film itself, where it can be explained better. And on that note, for people who don't really know anything about Marvel, sure, this would look interesting, but I imagine it would also be very confusing. Like if you showed this to someone who doesn't follow the MCU, I imagine they'd think, okay, it's a superhero movie, but what is a lot of this? But hey, maybe that's not the case. Don't explain that Kree or human thing to me in the comments, by the way. I don't know a ton about Carol Danvers from the comics, so I'd rather just find out when I see the film. Also, the old lady punch was hilarious, and I know it's cause either that lady's a Skrull, or Carol thinks she's a Skrull, but with no context to the presumably many people out there who don't know what a Skrull is, or what they can do, that must be the most confusing and random thing in the middle of a trailer. But hey, in the movie itself, I would love a Carol beating up random people who she thinks are Skrulls montage. Also, I'm waiting to see the Skrulls more in action before I judge too much, but based on the little we've seen, and mainly that photo, they look a little meh. Like a little bit Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.y, I guess is how I'd put it. Some CG also doesn't look amazing, although I know it'll get better with the actual film. I will say though, a lot of the CGI does look really cool, especially that Carol and her team underwater thing. And finally, it's just a teaser, I know, but a little bit of this looked just a tad generic superhero movie to me. Like maybe we're spoiled with superhero movies that have their own very distinct styles behind the camera, like Logan or Thor Ragnarok or Guardians. But nothing really stood out about this to me that was like, that's Captain Marvel. That's what's really going to set this apart from other superhero films. It still looks fun, but I don't know. I hope if the plot doesn't, the character and her journey will set it apart. Also, I'm sure when this comes out, there'll be the same thing there was when Wonder Woman or Black Panther came out, where people get really excited about a somewhat new kind of representation in superhero films, the first solo female-led MCU movie and all, and then there'll be some backlash as there always is and yada yada. And really, I don't talk about that aspect of it a lot because I feel like it's pretty simple, so I'm just going to address that here. Obviously, it's not a good movie simply because it has a female lead or a black lead or whatever, but if it is a good movie on its own, and then people who might not otherwise have a superhero or this kind of character to look up to, as of yet, now have that because of that movie, seeing someone that looks like them be this kind of character, that's just awesome. Like, I don't get the backlash that comes from that. How is that not only a good thing? Who does that hurt? Also, I just want to point out that you don't have to be the same race or gender to relate to a character. Like, I really relate to, / really like characters like Adonis Creed, or Haley Steinfeld in Edge of 17. So I'm sure there'll also be little boys who look up to and relate to this character when this comes out, and that's awesome too. Again, I can't see how that hurts anyone, or how there's a downside there. Anyway, I know that was a bit of a tangent, but I imagine that's going to be a big part of this film's release, and I just want to address it now. All in all though, besides a few reservations, this movie looks really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing this character enter the MCU. I'm really intrigued by the premise of this Kree-Skrull war and how Nick Fury factors into all that, and how this will end up leading into Avengers 4, and it does just look like another fun MCU movie. Count me in. So those were my thoughts on the Captain Marvel trailer. What did you think of it? Let me know all of your thoughts down below in the comments. While you're at it, be sure to like this video, check out my Instagram and Twitter at BHL_Hudson, check out this podcast about movies and TV and whatnot I do every so often with a friend of mine, it's called The Poorly Planned Podcast, and subscribe for more videos like the one you just watched. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.